Okay, today's mini project. Today's mini project is adding LED lights to my wife's sewing machine. I've noticed a few times that underneath the harp of the sewing machine it can get quite dark in there when you're sewing, and it's hard to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some LED lights to the harp of the machine, and I'll show you how that's done. And I'll also put the links online as to where you can buy the LED strips here. For the power supply, I'm going to be using an old transformer from a toy or something. I have a lot of them kicking around. I save them after I throw old used phones or old used toys. I keep the transformers. So if you don't have a transformer, you'll have to get one. I'm just using, actually, this is a 12-volt LED. I'm actually going to be using a 9-volt transformer. I think you'll find that anything between 9 to 14 volts will work pretty good with these LEDs. Anything below 9 volts probably won't turn on, and that's something you'll have to experiment with. But I'm using surplus 9-volt light, and we're going to be using these LED strips. Now, the one thing about these LED strips is that they can be cut. You can see here I just got a big strip of LEDs. These can be cut every 3, okay? And there's actually a little mark right on the LED strip where it says you can cut. So I need strips of 9, so I'm going to be going up to 9, and I'm going to cut this strip. I have one cut already, and I'm going to cut another strip of 9. I thought I'd put 1 underneath. I thought, let's go all out. But since I'm cutting 2 strips, I'm going to have to join these together and then add the transformer. So I'm going to cut another strip of 9, and I'm going to cut it right on the scissor line. And you'll notice that there's a little copper strip there. Now, for your point, where it says positive 12 volts, that'll be your positive, and the other side obviously will be your negative. So remember, always remember your polarity, so you don't, you're not going to, there's nothing dangerous here, but I mean, it'll just not work if you don't do it properly. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take these 2 strips, and since I want to put 2 underneath the sewing machine, I have to join these 2 together, going positive to positive. I'm going to just attach 2 wires, and then I have to add the transformer to the other end. So let's get started soldering. So let's get started with the soldering. I've already pre-tinned the copper ends of the LED, and I have cut out a small red lead and a small black lead for the negative and positive. And now I'm just going to tin this other strip of LED, and simply the plastic's going to melt a bit because it's coating. And I just put a little drop of solder on each of the leads. As you can see, I got that tinned on both sides, and that just makes it easy to connect. Now I simply take the side that's marked positive, and maybe I'll use a different jig, hold this in place, so that you can see this okay. And then all I need to do now is just simply touch, since everything is pre-tinned, all I have to do is just touch these together, and they're soldered. And I'll do the same for the black wire. And I'll just touch that on there. Again, I'll give you all the links for the strips themselves. Now I'll join these together. Again, the side is pre-tinned, making sure I got my positive to my positive, which is here to here. Maybe I should have done that on the other side. Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, and now I think I'll just take my transformer leads and test to see that we actually have. It's really hard when they're not soldered yet, because things want to move. Okay, yeah, that works fine. So now I have my unit ready to go. Now I'm going to tin the end and then add my power lead. I'm going to flip these around. The reason why I added these leads on is that I'm going to be gluing these two strips underneath the harp, and these are the strips too. I can't bend this around, so that's why I had to add those two leads on. And now I'm going to, there'll be no switch on this because I use a switch, a power bar. When I do my work, I use a power bar. So I don't need to put a switch on this, but I do. And we'll test it out. Works well. Put my shrink wrap on. And we're done. Test it one more time. Okay, now we're ready to install it on the sewing machine. And now you can see how dark it is under the harp. I'm going to add some illumination. And here's our strip. And now this is actually it has pre-adhesive on the back, so this is going to be easy to install. I think I'm going to make sure that these red wires and that are up. Oh, I need to do it this way so that the power cable is up out of the way. So I'm just going to do the first one here, taking off the peel and stick. That's a nice thing about these LEDs, they come already with the peel. Like so. Voila. Take my power cable, I'll tuck that all up out of the way, and I'll make it so that it's invisible. And that's it. Now we have beautiful lighting underneath our sewing machine. So we got nice bright light for sewing. Hope you've enjoyed this video on how to add LED lighting to your sewing machine. Thank you, and we'll see you next time at Emerald Meadows.